Hello everyone, and today we're going to be having a final look at Dark Magician here, just rounding out the ranked season for the month here. Most of our matches here were in Diamond 1 before the rank change. Fortunately, one of them has to be in Platinum 5 because it erases your entire match history when a season changes, which I think is ridiculous. But yeah, we're just going to play a few, quick Dark Magician games, nothing super competitive. We are playing a very different version of the deck to what we tried before. It is a Aurora Dawn version of the deck. We're using Instant Fusion and Ready Fusion to summon out the Sea Monster Theseus to make the whole play a bit more consistent. Are you going to see that play in action? No, because of every single game I've played with this deck, not once have I successfully resolved that series of plays, so I'm not going to sell it to you and pretend it is. So instead, we'll just sit back, we'll enjoy some good Dark Magician gameplay, and we'll keep it nice and simple. So if you like what you're seeing, if you have any recommendations, suggestions, requests, anything like that, do throw them down in the comments. And feel free to subscribe while you're down there. It's completely free, you get good content, and I get the support needed to boost the channel, so win-win. As well as that, we still have the Discord server. We're still trying to get people in, slowly growing it here, and we do sort of want to be making use of that soon. All of our videos and decks are all posted within individualized channels. You can get some specialist help whenever trying to build decks, and as well as any updates or discussions happening as a result of them. So very, very useful. And again, as soon as we get a few more bodies in, that is going to be an invaluable resource. So yeah, I'll keep it nice and simple. We'll cover off the deck in maybe a bit more detail at the end, but to be honest, this is more of a fun video to end the season off. So let's get into game number 1. Alright, game number 1 here, and we have a classic Dark Magician hand here. We're going to use Magician Souls, summon itself out by... we're going to summon out the Dark Magician itself here. We didn't have any spells or traps to discard off of Souls, we didn't really want to do it. We're going to grab Circle here, just in the hopes that we can grab a Salvation off of it. We're going to preemptively Fusion Summon, because there's some cool synergy here between this and Circle. We preemptively Fusion Summon so that whenever we activate Circle, we get to potentially grab a Dark Magician spell or trap, then we stack the remaining cards however we want, and then the Dark Magicians will allow us to draw the card we stack at the top. So that's why we preemptively Fusion Summon. So we grab a Dark Magician, we stack the card on top of the deck, and then we draw the Call by the Grave as the most valuable of the targets. We go Fusion Destiny, and we pass turn. So, we're looking pretty good. We have the Dark Magicians to get drawing cards. We have the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer to get popping. Call by the Grave to get negating. We're going to use that right away here. We don't want him to go into any fancy plays. We're playing against Dragon Maid, so I know potentially not the smartest Call by the Grave, but I didn't want him to extend, not only get his regular combos, but to be able to go into some link plays on top of it all. We get to draw an additional card, but he's going to hit us with Droplet. Going to discard a Chambermaid and a Tidying. So I saw that and I thought, these last two cards in his hand must be nuts. There's no way that they aren't. He's going to use the Tidying effect in the graveyard to banish it. We're going to chain Maxi just in case he does want to go into any shenanigans here. We want to cut him off as quickly as possible, or at least get a bit of a card advantage off of it. He's going to summon out the Chambermaid from the graveyard, and we're going to use the Ash that we just drew to negate that Chamber Dragon Maid. So again, very lucky draw. I'll be honest, it was a lucky draw. He normal summons out Albaz and fusion summons with our DPE, which I thought was astounding. He's going to use the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon to boost up by up to 4200, but he's not going to swing in. Instead, he's just going to go into Verte Anaconda. Verte Anaconda, pay 2000 to bring out DPE, which I was a little bit disappointed by. I was hoping he would just swing and get his Starving Venom Fusion Dragon banished. He's going to swing with DPE. In the damage calculation, we're going to activate our Apprentice to boost up by 2k. It's too late for him to activate his Phoenix Enforcer because it's in damage calc, so we can't do anything about it. We draw into another Circle here, which hopefully can get us some good advantage. We have an Eternal Soul in hand, so that's great. Circle is going to grab an Illusion Magic from the hand. We also get to draw an additional card. We stack souls on top of the deck so we could send the Dark Magician Girl to summon it, ditch the Spur Souls, ditch the Illusion Magic, draw 2. We're going to get rid of Maxi because we don't need it anymore. Normal summon the Rod. We are just going off here, and our opponent sees that we had the Dark Magician setup, we had the Eternal Soul Salvation setup. We were going to go into not DPE because we already used DPE. We were going to go into a Masquerena, potentially even a Unicorn, something like that. So yeah, our opponent realized it was game over there. So that's just some classic, pure sort of Dark Magician type action. really makes you think whether or not the initial version of the deck that I had posted, I know it was very trap card heavy, sort of makes me wonder, well, why not just try to take that original version and just play with a bunch of hand traps instead of actual traps and see how that goes. That could be an idea for the near future, but I wanted to sort of play this more sort of gimmicky, fun version of the deck coming to the end of the month. So yeah, dead simple game number 1. Let's get into game number 2. Alright, game number 2. We are going first here. I had tremendous luck on the coin flip, by the way, for playing this deck. I've had great luck recently. Go Rod. Rod's going to grab Circle. If you don't have, because we already had Soul in hand, like just grabbing the Circle is the best possible play. He's going to max C here on the summon of our Souls, which is annoying, but it's not the worst thing in the world. This is what I'm saying about like the Aurora Dawn combo. The reason I'm not resolving it is because max C is everywhere. Negates are everywhere. Imperm is everywhere. You just can't get away from it. It's impossible to resolve in the modern metagame because everyone's abusing it. So fair enough. We're going to give him a couple of cards. I decided, you know, DP is probably more valuable than him drawing 2 cards. So whatever, we'll give it to him. He's going to go Foolish Burial here, sending a Drytron card to the graveyard. We're playing against a Drytrons. Definitely not a fun deck to play against. One of my least favorite decks, to be perfectly honest. He's going to go for an Alpha play here, or sorry, a Fubin play. It's been that long since I played against Drytrons. I don't even know what are the good negates anymore. That one seemed pretty solid, so you're going to ash that one. He's going to summon back a Altius here. He summons his Diviner. We're going to use Effective Healer on Diviner because we don't want to... Not Diviner, is that it? Yeah, Diviner of the Herald, yeah. We're going to negate the Diviner because he gets a whole bunch of advantage off of that particular card. He's going to resummon another of his Drytrons from the graveyard. At this stage, we're going to pop our DPE because we don't want him going into the Exceed monster. He's going to then link summon into Verte Anaconda. You know, the typical fallback plan of every deck in the metagame. Just summon DPE. Says the guy who just destroyed a card using DPE. So I get it, fair enough. But come on, man, you're playing Drytrons, your deck is busted. So what do we do here to counter it? We Droplet, get rid of the Verte Anaconda to negate the DPE, then we flip up our Eternal Soul, now that he's negated, and again, Eternal Soul is going to resummon a Dark Magician from the graveyard. When the Dark Magician is summoned, Dark Magical Circle is going to banish that DPE, so completely counter DPE. That is absolutely out of here. We're going to tribute the Dark Magician to add back the Magician's Rod to our hand, just for some additional follow-up on the next turn. So yeah, we're going to add that back here. He's going to swing for 500, but you know, big deal. Enjoy your 500 damage, you're not getting any more. So we will draw for turn into Fusion Destiny, ironically. A bit of a dead card, but if we can grab a Magician's Souls, it's a free discard, I suppose. We'll normal summon Magician's Rod, and we're going to grab Secrets of Dark Magic because we can use Eternal Soul from the graveyard to summon the Dark Magician from the graveyard. We have the Secrets of Dark Magic to quickly fusion summon in the battle phase if we happen to need it, but looking at the damage on board, it wasn't even necessary. Dark Magician for game against Drytrons. So it's not as if we were going against weak decks. Now, again, we went first, we had a lot of interruption, so fair enough. That's not like a, oh, this deck is better than Drytron's moment, but like, it shows you that when you've got the cards, you've got the cards. And for quite a few games in a row, we had the cards. So yeah, honestly, really fun game as well. It felt amazing putting the boot to Drytrons. I've lost to that deck so many times whenever I was first learning this game. Back when it first came out, Drytrons were everywhere. Completely counter his deck. I'm glad it's pretty much gone now. I rarely see any of it. It's making a small resurgence recently, which is a little bit worrying, but you know what, we're just gonna pretend it doesn't exist. You know, out of sight, out of mind. And speaking of out of sight, let's get game number 2 out of here and into game number 3. Alright, game number 3, and we're going first again. This was actually part of like just like a straight run of duels, so it was. So for this particular part, I wasn't cherry picking. The last duel, I'll admit, I did cherry pick because we lost a whole bunch of games in a row, and it wasn't like fun losses. Like I'll post a fun loss. I don't mind posting losses, but it's like it was just a kaiju and then numerons and stuff, and like there's no fun in watching that. So we're gonna just go into standard play, special summon out these souls, special summon out the Apprentice Illusion Magician. Gonna go into the Phoenix Enforcer. I really do love the Apprentice Illusion Magician. I know our opponent have Maxi there. we just decided, listen, if we don't play anything, we're gonna get OTK'd. So what are you get a choice between getting OTK'd without making plays, or making plays and getting OTK'd anyway. So it's like, what do you do? So we decided we're gonna try our luck. Unfortunately, our opponent had every out to everything that we had, but you can't be mad. I gave him like 4 million cards. It is what it is at that stage. He even drew this, which was just insult to injury in my opinion. I didn't think this was necessary at all, but here we are. He's going to banish the DPE from the graveyard just to be mean, I guess. He's going to summon out his token here to go into his Sky Striker Aces, so he's going to go into Hayate. He's going to use this card here and summon out Rosé from the hand. I was seeing this and I can only imagine he was going into a link play of some sort. He takes our Verte Anaconda, he uses these two to go into Crystron Haki Fibrax. This guy just has plays. So he summons out the Effective Veiler from the deck. He's going to use these two to go into Celine. Celine then is going to grab 5 counters, and using those two, he's going to go into Access Code Talker instead of resummoning the Effective Veiler from the graveyard. But I mean, what do I know, I guess. It was still lethal either way, so what are you going to do? That game was an example of don't take the Max C challenge. You will lose. Unless you're playing some crazy Floodgate based deck where it doesn't matter how many cards they have, they can't out your board. Don't take the Max C challenge, just don't do it, you will lose. And that was a demonstration of that. Not very much more to say on it, so let's just get into game number 4 and do away with our sorrows. And here we are into the final game of the video. This is, I would have loved for the first game in Platinum to be the final replay of this video. Unfortunately, for the first like 4 duels into Platinum, it was just Numerons. And like the first like 3 days of ranked is always going to be just people like scumming their way up the ranks really quickly. So you know what, fair enough, for the first couple of days it is going to be rough. We are playing against Pendulums here, so I wanted to include this because Pendulums are quite cool and I haven't seen them in a long time. We do hit him with the Max C here, so he is going to limit his play somewhat. He's going to do some Pendulum stuff that I can't even commentate over because I don't understand it. And he's going to go into his Synchro Monster here, the Ignister Prominence. He's going to grab the Tame Pendulum Graph from the deck. He's going to set that face down. Tame Pendulum Graph is basically pop one in your field, pop one in your opponent's field, and then draw 1. So yeah, pretty strong. It's a very, very strong card. Definitely his best form of interruption. We're going to normal summon out our Magician's Rod, and this is like the game where I thought finally, after playing this deck for like 15 duels in a row or 20 duels or something like that, I'm finally going to get to resolve the Crystron combo. Let's see it in action, and it doesn't work. I was so upset. Not once did I get to resolve that combo, and I'm salty as hell about it. It has convinced me, just play regular Dark Magician, just play regular Dark Magician, play hand traps, play traps, just hide away behind your back row. So he's going to go into Electromite here. Anyone who's played against Pendulum knows that this is pretty much the only good card in Pendulums. So we're going to Ash that right away. We don't want him gaining that level of card advantage. He would be able to basically add a Pendulum monster from the deck to the top of the extra deck and then pop his Pendulum Graph to draw a card. So he just generates a whole bunch of advantage off of it, and we could really do without that. So at the end phase, we're going to use Soul Servant to place Magician Souls on top of the deck. We really need a play, any play. We just need to play. Magician Souls, we're going to send Dark Magician to the graveyard. We decide to just summon out the Magician Souls because if we just summon Dark Magician, he's just going to pop us. It doesn't make any difference. We're going to draw 1, send the Forbidden Droplet to the grave to draw another. We summon the Apprentice Illusion Magician here, and the reason we do this is bait. We do this to force him to activate the Tame Pendulum Graph. It doesn't necessarily force him to do it, but it puts him in a position where he should do it to try and protect his Electromite because it's limited to 1, don't forget. So bear that in mind. So now that that's done, we just normal summon our Max C, use it to link summon in the Verte Anaconda, and then we just go into DPE. Again, you can just normal summon your hand trap. Like, that's part of why I'm leaning towards hand traps, because you can special summon out your Apprentice Illusion Magician and your Magician Souls. Just normal summon a hand trap and go into DPE. It's so handy. DPE pops the Pendulum Graph and then comes back. It's gonna finish off its job here and wiping out the Electromite, and our opponent realizes that and scoops it up. So yeah, does this version of the deck work as intended? I don't think so. I think you can probably get a fancy replay here and there off of it, but it's not going to be anywhere near consistent. I'm not here to lie to people. I'm not going to tell people that's how the deck works. But it does sort of maybe change a wee bit in terms of how I am looking at Dark Magician. So we may see an updated sort of more pure deck profile when we're taking it a little bit more seriously. Like I said, this deck profile is just for fun. So let's get into the actual profile itself, and we'll talk about some of the changes that were made and some of the theories. I'm not going to call them plays, we'll call them theories. Let's get into the deck profile. Alright, so into the deck profile here, and what are we seeing that's in this deck that wasn't in our original Dark Magician deck profile? So first of all, the Aurora Dawn combo is in this deck. It can work with this deck. We're playing tuner hand traps in order to make it more consistent. You special summon out one of your Dark Magician type monsters and then normal summon one of your hand traps, and that's grand. It also works with instant fusion and ready fusion. They will summon out Sea Monster Theseus, which is a tuner and a non-tuner gives you Halleck, and Halleck is just full combo. So that the idea was you would use either one of your hand traps as your normal summon or your ready or instant fusion to special summon out a tuner, and then you go into Halleck. Halleck does the whole Aurora Dawn play where you get like the 3 tokens and the death spot. You go into Baron de Fleur. Pretty cool in theory. Never happened. It did not happen once. This deck is pretty much either the best or the worst way to play Dark Magician. That's probably going to be the title. There's no in between. It's either the best or the worst. I'm leaning towards the worst, I'll be honest. I'm not a fan, but it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a more gimmicky type strategy when it comes to Dark Magician. I wouldn't recommend someone go out of their way to build this. It's not going to win you a lot of games. Honestly, I found the Dark Magician stuff itself just to be a lot more reliable. So if you want to see a better Dark Magician deck, look back on the channel, just a few videos, and there was a better one here. I may actually use this opportunity to use the wee corner thing, the card thing. I've never used that before. We'll use that now. So just click in the top corner if you want to see a better version of Dark Magicians. It's more pure, runs a lot more trap cards. We're not noticing a lot of pink in this back row here. We have a lot more pink in the back row in that video. But yeah, apart from that, the deck is pretty much identical. You want to use your Eternal Souls and your Circle and your Dark Magician combo to just get banishing a whole bunch of cards. You get your Graveyard Recursion. We're playing Droplet to completely shatter people's boards. We were playing the Ice Barrier, the Ice Dragon's Prison. This has to be one of my favorite trap cards. This is such a strong card. I love this card so much. Absolutely, whack 17 of that in there. But yeah, very straightforward. I'm not going to spend ages describing this deck. Would I recommend you play it? Probably not if you're looking to win games, but if you're looking for a bit of fun, if you have the Aurora Dawn and stuff and you want to sort of maybe play around with it, why not? You know, it doesn't hurt. There may be better ways of optimizing this, honestly, even going forward. Perhaps something I was even thinking about was a small tuning engine using 3 copies of tuning and a quick draw synchron. I should have been more specific. Quick is in the name of it, like at least like 7 million different cards. But yeah, so the idea would be you would use your tuning. Tuning would grab a quick draw synchron then from the deck. You can special summon quick draw synchron by discarding another monster. That could be cool. I just think it takes up a lot of room. If you really want to play Aurora Dawn though, if you really want to do it, that could be a potential way of doing it. So bear that in mind. You know, it's just another option. You can even play the Jet Synchron in with that as well instead of the Despot 001 that would just synergize a bit better. I'm not going to waste your time with loads of combos and ideas. We'll probably at one point explore them, or if you would rather test them out yourselves against me, you can jump into the Discord, go to the Dark Magician channel, throw me your ideas. I will either test them or you can test them against me in a duel room, and we'll see what works and what doesn't. And if you want to build your own unique version of Dark Magician, I will help you to the utmost of my abilities. So if you do want a hand with that, jump in the Discord, jump in the Dark Magician channel, throw up your suggestions, throw up your questions, and I'll get around to as many of them as I can. But with that, I'll stop rambling. That's pretty much all I have to say on the deck then, so I'll catch you all in the next one.